Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Harrison with Electricode, wiring people for success since 2017, one wire at a time. And this morning, I'm going to have an impromptu conversation with one of our technicians, Richard Leavitt. And I'm so very excited to be able to get some of his time this morning. He is busy wiring people for success and serving our customers in our community each and every day. And he was able to get some time with me this morning. So this is that conversation. Thank you very much. And I will catch up with you on the end. We kind of talked a little bit last time about who we hire and what we look for in new technicians. And me and Taylor kind of talked about that a little bit. But I'm kind of curious about, I guess, first of all, what you think about Electricode and the type of technicians we're looking for and your firsthand experience going from where you were 2 years ago to where you are today. What do you think?
So yeah, a lot goes into that. Where I was 2 years ago, I came out of the union and came into service work, and I learned a lot. I think that in this field, it takes a lot of personality because you can always teach the electrical side of it, as we've seen time and time again with the technicians we have. It's that bubbly, good personality that really steps them up, because you're dealing with a customer and you're inside their home. So that aspect of it, they can't be talking to a brick wall. They can't be talking to, just the normal everyday electricians, because electricians don't want to sell. They just want to do the work. They don't get the other end of it. So
yeah, I mean, that you're touching on right there is the technical part of it, right? So the technical part of it isn't so hard for us electricians, right? It's what we got into the trade for, right? We got in there to get our hands on stuff and deal with an inanimate object that'll do what we tell it to do, right? So people are a little different, right? So we've got to go from managing wires to managing people maybe a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. And I feel like you've done a really great job about picking people out. And, people for the most part, they sort themselves out. They start showing up late to the job, or, they just don't have a good attitude towards things. They kind of sort themselves out and weed themselves out. But what we have going on here right now is we're all pretty tight-knit, and I think we pick those out pretty fast.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember, towards the beginning, I feel like I was a little more black and white, and I could still do it, right? I could still be there and be like, oh, yes or no, yes or no. And, the world we live in is gray, right? You got to have some grace with people. But I used to say, I don't know why threes are always in my head, but I was like, I'll figure them out in 3 hours, and it's like, well, that's maybe too much. So then it turned into 3 days. And then somewhere along the line, I feel like we settled on 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In really knowing okay, is this a good fit? And it's not so much about can you bend the conduit? Can you pull the wire? Can you use a meter? Things like that are really what I think made us successful in our recruiting and our training and our growth with the culture and everything that we're creating here. It's really the good attitude, aptitude, and willingness to learn. And like you said, if you're showing up late, if you're not hitting those 10 things that require zero skill, you're weeding yourself out.
Absolutely. And then once you get to that point, it's what are you doing to set yourself apart? Whether it be from another company or from people in your own company, what are you doing outside of work that's going to boost you above and beyond to set yourself apart? I think those are really, all of it blends together. All of these things blend together. Professional, personal, and spiritual. I think all those things blend together, and once you have a good moral around that, a good compass around all three of those things, which I can speak to that. I'll get 2 out of the 3, and then I'll find the balance, and then I'll see the imbalance, and I'll jump into the one, and the other ones become unbalanced. So
yeah,
it's ever evolving, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're getting 1% better every day, right? We're the worst we've ever been, but the best we'll ever be. I think I said that backwards. So let me say that again. Best we've ever been, but the worst we'll ever be. And that's really the testament to it. It's a mindset. It's a perspective, right? It's not so much the here and now. It's the where you're going.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a good job in creating that answer here.
I think so too. And with that, you know, is this what are you doing to make those plans? Are you writing things down? Because I've seen that now that you've shown me that, like writing stuff down to get to that future is really, really important because you're seeing where you're going. You're making that plan. You're putting it inside your head. You're putting it out there to get to that destination. So that's something I feel like I've learned from Electricode as well as you, just making that plan to shoot forward and then really diving into it. I mean, you got your ebbs and flows, right? So as I continue to grow here, I feel like I'm getting better on the other end of not just installs, but like calling people back, follow-ups, and then all those things are super, super important. We don't just go out to people's house and then it ends there. You know, we want to make a customer for life. And how do you do that? You have to build trust with them. You have to do the right thing, build what you're going to build, whatever that may be, to code and above. Is how we do it here.
It sounds like a pretty cohesive and genuine relationship.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning, Richard. I know you're busy and you're doing those follow-ups, and I kind of just pulled you aside and say, hey, let's have a conversation. So
let's do this.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing that on the fly. And this is real life. This is what we do here at Electricode, is we wire people for success. And is there anything you want to end on that note?
No. Have a blessed day.
Well, thank you, sir. So that was the conversation, guys. We are your electricians, and we love the opportunity to be of service to you. So please give us a call for all of your electrical needs. It's 702-260-4001, and we will wire you for success just as soon as you know it. Thank you so much.